here from Dallas. We've got, I'm going to assume this is Janez here from Slovenia. Janez, it's awesome to have you with us. We've got Sherry here from St. Paul. We've got Wendy with us. April here from Massachusetts. Awesome. It's great to have all of you with us. We're literally about to get started. I want to say hi to one other person. George runs a bike detailing business. I'm going to see if we can say hi to George real quick, if he's there and if he has his microphone connected. George, it's Chris from Heyo. Are you there?
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you?
I can hear you just great, George.
Okay. Didn't know I even had a microphone.
You sure do. Thanks for joining us. So George, you run a bike detailing business?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Been running for about 7 months.
You've been open for about 7 months.
Yeah.
Awesome. And is this like a bricks and mortar business? You have a retail location somewhere, or
no? What? It's at the moment I have a proper job, but it's I have a very big garage which I've converted to a completely wash and cleaning area, and then I have contacts with 3 or 4 big stores in Oslo that are drop-off points where I can collect bikes and deliver back to, because I live out in the country a little bit. So.
And you're in Norway, is that right?
Big service, so no one's asking for it, so it's difficult. It's difficult.
Got it. And you're located in Norway, is that right?
Yeah, in Oslo, just outside Oslo.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. It's really cool to learn about your business, and I really hope you enjoyed today's webinar.
Great, thanks.
You got it. Awesome. Well, folks, it is about that time to get started. For those of you who are just joining, or maybe joining in the last couple minutes and are wondering what's happening and if you're in the right place, you are in the right place. If you're here for today's exclusive webinar just for our audience, for Heyo's audience, entitled The Secret to Successful Facebook Campaigns. And we are just about to get started. So now is a great time to just kind of close out any other distractions you have. If you're checking your email, trying to get that last response in, go ahead and wind that up. You're going to want to focus on my screen. You should see this really pretty teal colored slide with the title of today's webinar on it, because we're about to get started. So just a couple of quick things. We are recording today's webinar. So if you're concerned because you've got to leave in half an hour and you're not sure if you're going to miss something, or if you just want to be able to have it for reference, or if you want your friend to be, or your business partner to be able to hear it, no problem. We are recording today's webinar, and we're going to send that link out to the recording to everybody who's on today. So no worries there. I also want to introduce you to one of my colleagues, Alex. So Alex Shammy, also here for the Heyo team, is joining me today. I'm going to let him say hello. Alex, are you there?
Yes, I am, Chris. Thanks for unmuting me.
All right, you got it. So Alex is going to be with me today, you guys. I'll be presenting the slides today and kind of talking through these different case studies, talking about what makes these campaigns and the businesses that run them successful. Alex is going to be kind of behind the scenes, answering your questions, helping you, figure out how you can apply some of these strategies in your own business. So we have the right man for the job. Alex is a real expert, and it's awesome to have him along. So Alex, thanks for joining me today, joining all of us today.
Right on, Chris. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Awesome. All right, so we are ready to get started, folks. Thanks so much for joining. So as I said, the title of today's webinar is The Secret to Successful Campaigns. And the way I think about today's content is, we've been in business now for about 3 years here at Heyo, and we've seen thousands of campaigns, run by all different kinds of businesses, small businesses, medium-sized businesses, agencies, larger brands, and we've really seen lots of great campaigns that have been really successful. We've seen campaigns be not so successful. And so what we've done is really tried to zero in for today on, what are the things that we see working really well, and the businesses that are really doing well with Facebook campaigns, building their email list. What do those businesses look like? What are the common characteristics of those businesses? And that's what I'm going to try to really uncover for you today. So as we get started, I want to first ask you a question. I'm going to go ahead and ask you a question. What type of business are you? If you could let me know in the GoToWebinar questions, that would be awesome. Are you a small business? Are you a local business with a bricks and mortar storefront? Are you an agency, an independent consultant like Stephanie we talked to in Fair Oaks, California? Let me know what type of business you are specifically. That would be really, really great to get to know you guys a little bit as we really get going. And we've got Chris, who's a mobile game publisher. We've got physicians on the line. We've got coaches, small businesses. Awesome. So thank you for telling me a little bit more about yourselves. All right, let's go ahead and keep going. I really like this next slide. We call it the social sales cycle, but really this is just a great kind of framework, if you will, for understanding how to really set goals on Facebook for your business, right? If you think about social media in general, and certainly on Facebook, this is one of the ways we like to think about things. So, on a platform like Facebook, you're really trying to build a fan base. You're trying to build an audience, and you're hopefully doing that through really good content and engaging with your fans as they reach out to you on that platform, or as they engage with your content, as they read it, as they share it, etc. So that's kind of how we think about this. Those fans, eventually you want to become leads. And this is kind of what we're going to be talking about today. This, where you see this like little magnet here on my diagram, the process of helping convert those fans to leads by giving you contact information. One of the best ways to do that is by running a social campaign or contest. And that's what we're really going to be zeroing in on today. And then, of course, from there, you've got the opportunity to nurture those leads through email, in-person events, other channels, and then hopefully those leads become customers and really engage with your brand by actually consuming your products and services. It doesn't always work out perfectly linearly like this. You might have customers that come and become a fan on Facebook, and they might end up becoming repeat customers or making referrals for you or what have you. But this is one of the ways I like to think about growing your business on Facebook. So here's today's agenda, folks. We're going to examine 5 successful contests. We're going to ask ourselves the question, what made these campaigns successful? We're going to answer that question. We're also going to ask, so 2 questions sort of about, how you can run similar campaigns yourself. How can I choose the right prize, which is a really big part of running a successful campaign? And where should I promote my campaign? So kind of those last 2 questions are going to be more about trying to help you as the audience zero in on how you can run a similar campaign successfully. My goal during this whole agenda is for you to have moments where you're saying to yourself, hey, I could do that. I'm like that business. So if you're having those moments today, then I'm going to be really excited, because that's exactly what we're trying to achieve here with this webinar today. I'm definitely going to also save some time for Q&A at the end. So if you've got questions throughout, go ahead and pop them into GoToWebinar. Alex might pick up some of them, but I also am going to save some time for Q&A at the end. That's really hopefully focused and high impact. So please, throughout, do ask questions. You can join in by either just popping into the GoToWebinar questions panel and typing in a question for us, or you can tweet a question to us using hashtag HeyoWebinar. Hashtag HeyoWebinar. Feel free to ask us a question or drop us a comment in either place. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in and get started by examining 5 successful contests that we've seen run here at Heyo. Now, these are all real contests that were run by Heyo customers. For the sake of simplicity and kind of helping us zero in less on I wanted to focus less on the type of contest that was being run and more on, what are the strategies and tactics, and what are what's the copy that's working on that contest? What's the prize that's working well in that contest? Is there a particular way that the business promoted the campaign? So for all the campaigns or contests, if you will, that we're examining today, they're all going to be sort of your bread and butter social giveaway or sweepstakes. And I will tell you, sort of the first nugget I'll give you today is that of all the campaigns that you could run, of all the different contests that you could run on social media, there's nothing that we've seen here at Heyo that converts better. And when I say converts, I mean just collecting more leads. If your goal is just build your email address and collect more leads, there's nothing we've seen convert better than your simple sweepstakes campaign. It's simple. People understand it. Consumers don't have to think too hard about it. If they want to win that great prize, that really exciting, compelling incentive that you're offering, all they have to do is enter their email address. And there's really nothing that we've seen that works quite as well at simply building an email list. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So let's dive in and look at this first example. And this is AAA Minneapolis. Now, AAA is a big brand. We probably all know of the AAA brand, the American Automotive Association. Hopefully I got that right. But AAA is made up of lots of little local offices. And this was specifically the AAA in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So AAA Minneapolis. And they ran a giveaway. Their whole goal was to build their email list. And they were going to use those email addresses, that new contact information, to sell more memberships to their auto club. And that's what AAA is. That's what they do. So here's what's kind of interesting about this. They ran this campaign earlier this year. The prize they were giving away were tickets to a Minnesota Wild hockey game. So if you're not a hockey fan, Minnesota Wild is a good NHL team. Well, I assume they're a good NHL team. They're an NHL team. So if you're in Minneapolis area, I'm sure you think they're the best NHL team. And the AAA Minneapolis used tickets to see the Minnesota Wild, to see a hockey game, as their prize. The result is they had over 2,000 impressions. Meaning there are basically just over 2,000 people, 2,066 people that saw this campaign. 705 of them entered their email address for a chance to win. So they had a conversion rate of 40%. They gained 705 new emails, and this was a very successful campaign for AAA Minneapolis. Now, let me ask you in the GoToWebinar questions, what do you think helped make this campaign so successful? Is there a reason that you think this campaign was so successful? What did they do well? Let me know what you think in the GoToWebinar questions. Okay, Matt says simplicity. All right. April says prize isn't giving their services away. Let me see if I can get April on the line. I want to hear more about that. Okay, April, you're unmuted. Are you there? Hi, April, you're unmuted. Are you there?
Here.
Hey, April, how are you?
Yeah.
So thanks for jumping on live here with me for a second. So you said something really interesting. You said the prize isn't giving their services away. So tell me why you think that was good for them.
Because it doesn't sound very salesy at all. They're not trying to sell their own services. They're just really focusing on collecting the emails, and they don't want people to feel like they're being sold to.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, I think that's a really good point, actually. Like it doesn't feel like they're selling because the prize they're giving away isn't their own product or service. I would also, I think you really nailed it. I mean, I think that was, for me, one of the things I keyed in on with this campaign. Often as a business owner, we want to promote our business, right? So like we will default often to, I'm going to give away my own product or service. And sometimes, and I think you'll see this in some of the campaigns coming up, sometimes that's a good thing, right? But not all the time. And in this example, I think a free AAA membership, a free auto club membership, which might be the obvious thing they'd give away, right? If they were giving away their own service, I don't think that would be very exciting, April. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like if I saw like a promoted post in my newsfeed that said win a free auto club membership, I'd probably just click on my friend's baby picture, right?
Yeah, right. I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely hockey game sounds like a lot more fun.
Yeah, what I do love about it though is, they really care about their market, right? They're in Minneapolis and they want to reach people in Minneapolis, and people in San Francisco or Omaha, Nebraska are probably not going to care about Minnesota Wild tickets. So they did pick a prize that was very like geographically limiting, because their target was geographically limiting, which also tells me that they probably know their target audience pretty well. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense, and it also seems like a really good opportunity to co-market with other small businesses in your area that serve the same clientele. Yeah,
that's a really good point. I mean, maybe they went to the Minnesota Wild and said, hey, would you guys donate a pair of tickets? We'll use it as a prize, and we'll put your brand, which they did, right, we'll put your brand right on the campaign. So that's really smart. I've seen that work really well too, where small businesses will team up. And like, one time I've used this example on webinars past. We had a client who was owned a car service, and he partnered with a local restaurant to offer like a complete night out as a prize, which was really cool, and it was really successful. So that's a really great thought too. Cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Hey, thanks, April, and thanks for being willing to like jump on live at like right here on the spot. That's very cool of you.
Yeah, no problem. It was great.
I'll let you go back to listening. Thanks for joining me. All right, so cool. So that's example number one, AAA Minneapolis, really successful campaign. I don't know if you can see here right by the like button, but you can see they had over 7,000 Facebook fans when they ran this campaign, which means they got an email address for almost 10% of their fan base on Facebook, which is really great. If you're kind of thinking about ratios and thinking about the size of your own fan base, that's pretty solid. So a lot of other great comments here on GoToWebinar. Lots of people clued in on the prize. Debbie says they gave away a great incentive. Sherry says they had a really appealing prize. Lots of great comments. In general, you guys, it sounds like you guys agree. And Mark asked the question, can you elaborate on the impressions? Was that reach or actual people that landed on the contest page? That was actually people that saw the page, not the reach of their page. That was the number of people that clicked through, a post on Facebook or some other means of promotion and actually saw this page. Mark, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, with that, folks, hopefully you're still looking at my screen because we're on to case study number 2. This is OMG Total Protection. Now, completely different type of business, a little bit smaller business, smaller fan base for sure. You can see they started with 923 fans on their Facebook page, or at least that's where they ended actually when this contest was over. They're in the software industry. They manufacture and sell like, security software, like antivirus software and privacy software, firewall software, stuff like that. OMG, really cool company. And this is a completely different case, right? Because they actually are giving their own product away. So they gave away free software, and specifically they picked like a bundle of different types of software. And they said, here, win a software prize pack worth over $150. They ended up with 1,849 impressions on the campaign, which is extremely impressive when you consider they actually ended the contest with over 900 fans. So they probably started, if I remember correctly, they started with at least a couple of hundred fans fewer than that. And they ended up with 705 new emails for their list. So they had a 39% conversion rate. So same question, everybody. Why hasn't this, or excuse me, why was this campaign successful? So the last campaign, totally agree, it was well targeted. The prize was really well thought through. Why was this campaign successful? Why do you think? Let me know what you think in the GoToWebinar questions. Okay, so Sherry says it was a valuable prize. She also says it was well targeted. Mishra says they started with a lot of fans for their Facebook page. That's a really good point, Mishra. We see that they had, let's say at least, they had 923 fans. You can see at this point when we took a snapshot of the campaign that the campaign had already ended. So they had 923 fans when the campaign started. Let's say they at least had 700 fans. Or excuse me, when the campaign ended. Let's say when the campaign started, they at least had 700 fans. So that's a really good thought. We've got another comment here, the monetary worth of the prize. So, the one thing I like about this, so they know their audience. They actually did give away. I will say this, if you're looking to give away your own product or service, that usually works best when it's a consumer product that's being given away. It could be software like this. It could be a consumer electronic product. Fashion accessories, clothing, handbags, those types of like products tend to work better as a giveaway rather than a service generally doesn't work as well with a giveaway. that last example from AAA Minneapolis, it was smart that they weren't giving away a free membership, or, if you were like a consultant yourself, giving away like a free hour of consulting is usually not a great prize. So one of the other things I think that works really well on this campaign is they called out the value right up front. So they made it really obvious and simple for the viewer, for the consumer, to see what this prize is worth. So that is something that's really helpful, I think, about this campaign. But that is OMG Total Protection. What does OMG stand for? I have absolutely no idea. Maybe you guys could look it up. I'd be interested to know myself. So, but very cool company. They ran a very successful campaign. So let's go ahead to the next one now. Okay, let's go ahead to the next one. This is one of my personal favorites. This case study is for Family Eye Center located in Troy, Alabama. A very, very cool local business that obviously is in healthcare, right? They're an optometrist. So Family Eye Center ran this campaign this past spring, and their goal was to build their email list, and their prize was designer eyewear. It was a pair of Vera Bradley sunglasses. So it was not, they're an optometrist office, right? And I'm sure like every optometrist office, they have that like little shop on the side of the office that is, where you can go buy contact lenses or get fitted for prescription frames, etc. But in this case, they just picked a really nice pair of designer sunglasses and they just gave it away as a prize. My CEO, Nathan, would call this, he would say, if you're a burger restaurant, don't give away the burger, give away the ketchup, give away something that's heavily related to your product and adds value to your product, but is not exactly your product. Okay. So a couple of things I would point out about this, they gained a little bit smaller scale in terms of impressions and emails, but still really, really healthy conversion rate, 50% conversion rate, collected 276 emails to build their list, which for this small optometry office in Troy, Alabama, was a huge win. They've since launched several other campaigns. They've been really successful. If you look up Family Eye Center in Troy, Alabama on Facebook, you can see, I think they have well over 1,000 fans now. They did not when they started. When they started this campaign, they had under 1,000 fans. So another really good example of a campaign that's a local business that ran a really successful contest. So let me ask you guys right now in the GoToWebinar questions, which of you feel like your business is similar to Family Eye Center? Maybe you're not an optometrist, maybe you're a doctor, maybe you're a dentist, maybe you're just a local business, but which of you feel like on some level you kind of identify with Family Eye Center? Okay, Debbie says me. Okay, let me see if I can get Debbie on the line to say hello. Hi, Debbie, you're unmuted. Are you there? Debbie, you're live, unmuted. Are you there? Do you have your microphone connected? Oh, doesn't sound like Debbie's got her microphone connected. That's okay. Debbie, I'm curious to hear, like, why do you feel like you're like Family Eye Center? April, who we just talked to a few minutes ago, by the way, says, I'm a small cell phone business. Yeah, totally. I totally see that, April. Okay, cool. Debbie says you're a physician's office. Perfect example, Debbie. Perfect example. So yeah, this was a really cool campaign. Specifically what Family Eye Center does is they have this big summer sale coming up, and they were able to run this campaign, build their email list, and then use that email list to email their fans about this big summer sale they were having. And they said it was the best producing, from a revenue perspective, it was the highest producing sale or campaign in their like retail store on location that they'd ever had, which is really cool. Really, really cool. All right, cool. So I think that was number 3. Let's go to number 5. Campaign number 4. I don't want to skip number 4. Okay, cool. Campaign number 4 is newportraitbiz.com. And newportraitbiz.com is a community for photographers who are starting their photography business. So it's kind of a niche community, if you will, or niche business. And their goal was to build their email list specifically for their community. They ran the sweepstakes. They gave away as a prize digital backgrounds and a prop collection. When I say a prop collection, you see this like little like metal looking tub that this cute little baby is sitting in. That's the prop. They gave away this, like, you can see the tubs down here, this little like tub collection as props that they gave away. They ended up with just over 1,400 impressions, collected 406 emails for a conversion rate of 30%. So a really healthy conversion rate. That's, I would say for us here at Heyo, a healthy conversion rate would be something north of 20%. If you're running a sweepstakes like this, you want to see a conversion rate that's up over 20%. So same question, you guys. Why was this campaign successful? This one's a little different, right? It's not like a, something that's really maybe easily understood, like an optometrist or, a restaurant. It's a little bit of a unique business. Why do you think this campaign was successful? Let me see if I can get, Debbie says, it has a baby in it. Everyone loves babies. Good point, Debbie. Touche. Let me see if I can get Stephanie back live with me for a second. I would love to hear her thoughts as a consultant that works with this type of business. Stephanie, I've unmuted you. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, awesome.
I knew you were going to call on me.
You did, huh? Yeah.
I thought the same thing. Yeah.
You thought the same thing.
The
baby has it. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So maybe there's something to the creative. So let me ask you, any other thoughts about like why you think this campaign was successful? I'll be honest, I thought the prize was kind of odd, right? Digital background and prop tub collection. Why do you think that prize in particular was successful?
Well, it could be who their target was. You said that they were targeting other local photographers, right?
That's exactly right. I really feel like the magic of this campaign was they knew exactly who their target audience was. I see this campaign in my newsfeed, and I would just go right past it. But that's exactly what New Portrait Biz wanted, right? Because I'm not a valuable lead for them. I'm not a photographer. I'm probably not interested in their content. I'm probably not interested in anything that they might sell because I don't take pictures, at least not very well. So
correct.
I think you're probably exactly right. I think they really knew their target audience, and they put together a prize that was like definitely relevant to that audience, but also they found something that was exciting for a photographer that was just starting a business.
Correct.
Which is pretty cool. Awesome. And as you said, he's got a cute baby in it with like a funny pink shower cap, and it's got that kind of, is it Ann Geddes who takes the pictures of all the babies?
Yeah.
That kind of Ann Geddes feel to it, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks. I appreciate the input. Any other thoughts about this campaign, Stephanie? No,
I think that's all I see.
Okay, cool. All right. Thanks so much, Stephanie, for your input. Stephanie's exactly right. NewPortraitBiz.com knows their audience. They knew exactly what type of prize to select to make sure that their audience, that their campaign was really relevant to that target audience. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go ahead to the next one. And this one is, I believe, number 5. This is campaign number 5. This is also a local business called Nicollet Island Inn. So number 1 was a Minnesota-based business. Number 5, also a Minnesota Twin Cities area business called Nicollet Island Inn. It's a family-run hotel. It's a single location boutique hotel. It's kind of known as like a romantic destination, is my understanding, in the area. And they ran this sweepstakes. Their prize was a Valentine's Day package. I don't know if you can see the copy like right below the image, but they gave away a deluxe room, breakfast, and bed. It was basically a little Valentine's Day package. They ran this ahead of Valentine's Day this year in 2014. They had over 1,200 impressions, 1,242 impressions, collected 715 emails, and had a 57% conversion rate. Now, that's the highest conversion rate we've seen so far. Let me go back to the top. AAA Minneapolis had 40%. That was really healthy. OMG Total Protection had a 39% conversion rate. That's a really solid conversion rate. Family Eye Center had 50%. That is very good. If you get a 50% conversion rate on your sweepstakes campaign, you're killing it. Family Eye Center crushed it. NewPortraitBiz.com, 30%, a very healthy, very respectable conversion rate. They were, and they were also very targeted with their prize, right? This is not a mass appeal prize. So 57%, that's really high. That's really doing awesome, close to 60%. So why do you think Nicollet Island Inn performed so well? Same question. Why did they do so well? Okay, George says that they had a high volume prize. So George, let me see if I can get you back on the line. This is George, our friend with the bike detailing shop. See if I can get George back on the line. Okay, George, I unmuted you. Are you there?
Yeah, here.
Hey, George. So you said you think this was successful because they picked a really high value prize. Can you tell me a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean the actual monetary value of the prize is obviously, I don't know what it would cost in the US, but it's not huge. But in terms of me as a guy taking my wife or girlfriend away, that's high value. You win a lot of points. You get a lot of points for that. So
you're darn right you do.
I think so. I think that it's a very desirable prize. So probably not high value, but in terms of desirability, it's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, granted, he's high value is relative, right? They're not giving away a Tesla, right? Yeah. However, here in the U.S., a night at a nice hotel on Valentine's Day, like I'm thinking minimum $300, breakfast in bed. This seems like a pretty nice prize, and certainly more high value than like the free tub collection that New Portrait Biz gave away, right? And probably more than the free pair of Vera Bradley sunglasses. So I think for sure it's high value. I'll tell you the other thing, George, I love about this campaign. Hopefully this makes sense to you. Is that they really have like a really strong seasonal tie-in, right? So Valentine's Day was happening. They're a hotel, they're a romantic destination, and they just called that out front and center. They timed this campaign to Valentine's Day. They gave away a package that would be exciting for somebody. All the guys out there are thinking, what do I get my girlfriend? What do I get my wife for Valentine's Day, right? So yes. They use that seasonal tie-in, and what we find here at Heyo is that is very, very effective.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. And you would also tell everybody that you'd won it.
Yes.
I mean,
right.
If you won a pair of sunglasses, you'd probably tell maybe 2 or 3 people. But if you won a Valentine's weekend, there's 2 of you, and also you would tell everybody you know.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that, but probably really good like residual word of mouth value, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, George, thank you. I appreciate your input. So just to reiterate that, folks, because this is, I think, the magic. If I had to point to one reason why I think this campaign, performed even better than the other 4 we've already seen, I think it has to do with the fact that, Nicollet Island Inn, they did a great job picking a prize. They clearly knew their target audience. They're this romantic destination, and their fans are probably really interested in that type of a hotel or getaway. But they had that seasonal tie-in, which we always see kind of juice up the performance of the competition. Whoops, I'm jumping ahead here. There we go. Sorry about that. We always see that really juice up the performance of the competition and perform really, really well. I've seen businesses run, give away a free pizza delivery for Super Bowl Sunday and just blow it out of the water. When I thought to George's point, a free pizza, not a high value prize, but if it's timed well, if there's some kind of seasonal or current events type element, that really helps lift campaign performance. All right, let's keep rolling. I got news for you folks. Those were the 5 campaigns, but I've got one more bonus one to share with you. This is kind of a bonus, and I really love this campaign. It's a very recent one. We just did a case study about Gorin Brothers hat making company on our blog. Some of you might be familiar with Gorin Brothers. They are, I would definitely still call them a small business, but they're a little bit larger. They've got a handful of locations. They specifically sell these like really beautiful hats, and so they're in the retail apparel space. Their prize was pretty unique. It was a custom hat named after you. So whoever wins this prize, or whoever won this prize, they already ran this competition, got a free hat, but then it was a new line of hat that they were creating. Gorin Brothers also named the hat after the winner. Pretty cool. So talk about, George, talk about like residual word of mouth value, right? There's like quite a lot there. There's quite a lot there. So the conversion rate on this campaign was very, very high. I would say it's maybe the highest I've ever seen, which is why I'm sharing it as a bonus. Now, they had over 10,000 impressions. They collected over 8,400 email addresses, which is, for them, was well over 20% of their fan base. Well over 20% of their fan base, and for a conversion rate of 78%. Now, this campaign, I really thought, brought all the right pieces together. They knew their target audience. They offered a really compelling prize, really nice, clear, like beautifully designed campaign, really clear call to action. And if there's special sauce to this campaign, they hit on something that not a lot of businesses do, but those that do, I generally always see them being really successful with their contest, with their campaign. And that is that they offered a prize that had a real exclusive element to it. In fact, that's pretty similar to what Nicollet Island Inn did as well, right? They didn't just say like, get one free night at the hotel. They like put a gold ribbon around it. They made it kind of an exclusive experience. You stay here for Valentine's Day evening. You get free breakfast in bed. You get a free diamond key locket. Like, there's this whole package here that makes this Nicollet Island Inn prize, as well as being timely, feel exclusive. And Gorin Brothers like took that up 3 notches by saying, not only are you going to get this free product, we're going to name it after you. Pretty cool. That's, I think, a kind of a gutsy play, but pretty cool. So very, very creative. AJ says, yes, very creative prize. AJ, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. So April asks a great question. She says, are Facebook ads, so is paid targeting on Facebook part of getting that many impressions? So I will tell you specifically, the vast majority of these campaigns I'm showing you were just promoted organically, April. They were just promoted organically. Gorin Brothers, and this is talked about in our case study, they did 3 things. They promoted it organically on Facebook, so created some link share posts on Facebook. They sent 1 email to their email list about the campaign, and they invested $70 in promoting their organic Facebook post. So they did boost their performance a little bit with Facebook ads. I will tell you, I've seen that help. I've never seen Facebook ads replace organic marketing or promotion to a organic marketing or promotion to a fan base, right? To an existing audience, an organic audience. Just keep that in mind, April, as you consider Facebook ads. Like, they can be really valuable, but they're not a replacement for having an audience of your own. So awesome. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. So really, next, I want to answer this question: what made these campaigns successful? I'm going to try to move relatively quickly through these because I want to be, cognizant of your time. I really appreciate you guys spending so much time with me today. So what made these campaigns successful? Let's first talk about the traits of the businesses. So this is where I kind of peel back the curtain a bit for you, I think, even more. So when we look at businesses that have success running this type of Facebook campaign or a sweepstakes contest, this is what we see here at Heyo. Generally, to have success, you need at least 500 Facebook fans. And why I say that is, if you're brand new to Facebook, it's really not time to do this yet, right? If you can picture that funnel I showed you at the very beginning of the slides today, you're in fan building mode, right? It's all about content. It's all about engagement at that point. You're in fan building mode. So at least 500 Facebook fans is what we recommend. And in general, there are exceptions, but in general, it takes at least 500 fans to have some true success with your campaign, with your contest. An engaged audience. If you bought 500 fans and they don't really care about your brand and they're not engaging with your content, your campaign's not going to be successful. Your campaign's not going to be successful. I'd recommend that you're seeing at least 100 views on average. Some are going to be probably more, some are going to be less. But if you had to kind of take a simple average of the last five Facebook posts that you posted to your page, let's just do this real quick as like an impromptu poll. Just pop your answer into the GoToWebinar questions. On average, if you look at the last 5 posts on your Facebook page, on average, how many views are they getting? On average, how many views are they getting? Tell me what you think. Just write in the GoToWebinar questions, and you can take a second to check if you need to. Okay, so the question was, if you look back over like the last 5 organic Facebook posts that you made to your Facebook page, on average, if you had to like pick an average, about how many organic views per post are you getting? So I see, these are the numbers I'm seeing: 80, 400, 120, 120, 172, 239, 193. Chris says 200 to 500. We've got some folks that say they just started their Facebook page within the last 30 days. Tigger says 75, 800, 500, 1,300. That's extremely solid in today's day and age of Facebook land. Eric asked the question, how do I know how many views? By reach? That's right, Eric. So when you look at a post, it should say it's seen by X number of was seen by X number of people. That's how you'd know. So definitely like a wide range here, but I'm seeing quite a lot. So somewhere between, let's say, 100 and 1,000 views is what we're hearing. So that's for most of you, that's probably in the realm of meeting this, meeting this common trait that we see. Most of the businesses we see have success with a Facebook contest have audience in at least one other channel. And I said in parentheses here, mostly. You don't have to, but it's always super helpful if you've got some kind of email list or maybe a blog that already gets like a decent amount of traffic, because it's really helpful just in terms of how you promote the campaign. The ideal is to be able to run this campaign, set up this campaign, publish it, get it live, and then promote it organically in a way that's not going to cost you anything. Then it's amazing because it's really just like harvesting leads from your existing audience for free. And these types of contests are extremely, extremely successful at doing that. But I would say, assuming that you as a business have some of these things in place. And then the last thing that we see is they know their ideal customer. The businesses that are having success doing this, they know their target customer. When I talk to a potential client and I ask them, about their business, and they say, well, I'm selling shoes online. And I say, well, who's your target customer? And they say, well, really anybody who needs shoes. Everybody needs shoes. That's the problem. It's a blessing, right? It's like the good thing is, the upside is everybody needs shoes. Their downfall is everybody needs shoes, right? So if they came to me and said, I'm selling shoes online, I said, who's your target customer? And they said, well, we specialize in women's shoes, and they're kind of like hip, trendy shoes. So our design target are women in urban areas between the ages of 25 and 35. That is a target audit. That is a target customer, right? They know their target customer. That's going to help them pick the right prize. That's going to help them promote. That's going to help them do everything they need to make that campaign successful. So for sure, knowing your ideal customer is extremely valuable. Okay, next question. Traits of the campaign. I mean, you guys, we really nailed this, right? I pulled like George and Stephanie and April on the line with me to kind of talk through some of the stuff. These campaigns in general are well designed. They look professional. They have a clear, concise call to action. It's enter your email address to win a pair of free hockey tickets, right? It's extremely clear what we're asking the consumer to do. The prize is compelling and relevant, And they've really thought through the promotion strategy. And promotion strategy, listen, that sounds really highfalutin, right? When I say thoughtful promotion strategy. But the reality is you might just be promoting organically on Facebook, and that's okay. Because if you've got at least 500 fans and at least 100 views on average, you're going to see some traction. You're going to see some traction. So it doesn't have to be a complicated promotion strategy, but some promotion strategy there is extremely helpful. All right, so tips for making your contest more successful. I want to just dive in and give you two big tips that I think will really help you make your contest very successful. The first is make sure you pick the right prize. This is Chris's. This is just for you guys. All right. This is Chris's like tried and true simple method for nailing it when it comes to picking the right prize. So if you're not looking at my screen right now, you're going to want to look at this. You are absolutely going to want to write this down. So number one, consider your target audience. Think about who your target customer is. If you're that shoe store, it's women 25 to 35 in urban areas. Write down who they are. So what I just said, write down those demographics. How old are they? Is your target customer a specific gender? Do they live in a specific area? If I'm Nicollet Island Inn, my target customer is in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. The next thing I want you to do, and this is extremely important, probably the most important step, make a list of 3 to 5 things that are important to them. This is what we call psychographics, right? Are they parents? Do they care a lot about their children? Are they very design conscious? They're not buying the cobbled together PC laptop. They need a MacBook Air. That's design conscious, right? Who are they? What do they care about? Not just demographically, but who are they psychologically? What do they care about? Write down 3 to 5 things that you believe your target customer really cares about. Now, based on your notes, brainstorm 5 prize ideas. And this might need to germinate over the course of a couple of hours or a couple of days, and that's okay. Bounce these off your friend. If you've got a friend who's in marketing, say, here's what I know about my target customer. These are their demographics. Here's what they care about. These are their psychographics. What do you think a good incentive would be for this type of person? So this is extremely valuable. Take the time to do this. And then at the end of the day, pick the prize that you think is most relevant and exciting to your audience. AAA Minneapolis did not pick a free AAA membership as their prize. That's relevant for their business. That's relevant to their target audience. It's not exciting. It is not compelling. AAA picked playoff hockey tickets as their prize. Has nothing to do with AAA, but it was perfectly suited and targeted to who they were trying to reach. So it was really, really smart. That's picking the right prize. Next slide. How to promote your campaign. This is my step-by-step recommendation if you're going to run this type of contest on how to do it. First, make sure you publish your campaign to Facebook and mobile. Whatever platform you're using, I hope it's Heyo, but whatever platform you're using, make sure it publishes to Facebook and mobile. Because if you're publishing to mobile, you're basically doubling the number of leads you're going to get. Or saying that a different way, if you do not publish a mobile responsive version of the campaign, it's like cutting yourself off at the knees. You are cutting the number of leads you're going to get in half, because more than half of all Facebook users are going to Facebook from their phones. So folks, this is critical. Make sure you're publishing to Facebook and mobile. Immediately once the campaign is live, post a link share post to Facebook. If you don't know what a Facebook link share post is, go to support.heyo.com and search on the word link share, one word, just like I've got it here, LINKSHARE. That's our helps, our support site, and you're going to find a great help doc on how to create a link share post. That's the first thing you should do. The next thing you should do, promote your campaign in any other organic channels you have. Remember, I said it's really valuable to have channels like email, other social. If you've got a large following on Twitter, tell them about the campaign. If you've got a blog, write a blog post about your contest. Really let folks know what's happening. Let them know that it's live and that they can enter. This is optional. I think it was April who asked about this before. You can boost your link share post on Facebook. So that nice link share post you created that links straight to your contest page, if you want to go into the Facebook ads platform with your design target in mind, you can say, Facebook, show this post to this kind of person, to this kind of Facebook user. I've definitely seen it help. It is not a replacement for organic marketing, but it's helpful. Mark asked a great question. What's the point in promoting to your email list? You already have their email. Mark, you are exactly right. However, let me go back here to Nicollet Island Inn's campaign. You'll notice that part of entering the campaign is that we're suggesting, and this is Heyo's sweepstakes template, by the way, that has this layout. We're asking them to also like your page, click to share the campaign on Facebook, click to tweet about the campaign on Twitter. And what we've seen is that customers who promote their campaign to their email list even though they already have those people's email addresses, those customers or those members of their audience are going to promote this campaign for them to their friends and get them more leads. So Mark, that's the reason that it's really, really smart to do that. Okay. And then finally, make sure you analyze results for the next campaign. You always want to do that. You always want to make sure you're running a successful campaign and setting yourself up for success for the next one, because that's critical. Okay, folks, a quick summary before we get to Q&A and some other special stuff I've got to share with you. Businesses that are having success with these types of campaigns have at least 500 Facebook fans, good engagement on their page, and know their ideal customer. They're also making sure they're picking the right prize based on that ideal customer persona. They're running well-designed campaigns with a clear call to action, or CTA, and they are promoting via Facebook and other channels. They're promoting their campaign well. If you have these traits, 500 Facebook fans, good engagement, know their ideal customer, and you run a campaign doing these things, making sure you're thoughtful about your prize, about your promotion, being really clear and well designed with your call to action. If you're doing those things, you are going to have success. What we see, I wish I could make a promise. You are, 100% guaranteed. I wish I could guarantee that you're going to have success. I guess I can't guarantee it, but I can as close to guarantee it as possible, because it's what we see happen, right? And if you don't fit this profile, that's okay. It's just not time yet. It's just not time yet to go and harvest, really high quality leads from your Facebook fan base. So let me ask you a question. In the GoToWebinar questions, folks, yes or no, were there at least 2 actionable things you learned from this webinar today? Were there at least 2 actionable things you learned from this webinar today? Yes or no in the GoToWebinar questions. I would love to know. Absolutely dying to know. Maybe not literally dying, but figuratively speaking, I'm dying to know. All right, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. That's good. Michael says yes. Mishra says yes. Brett says yes. Jen says yes. Awesome. A whole bunch of other yeses. Good. So here's a question. You can execute this strategy. If you fit this persona, you can do this right on Heyo. It's super easy. And I would love, for those of you that are not yet Heyo users, I would love to just share with you what it costs to use our platform, and even kind of show you a special price maybe that I've got for you guys on the webinar today. So if you'd like to see some special pricing I have for you today for Heyo, type buy, B-U-Y, into the GoToWebinar questions. That's how you can let me know. Since I've already asked you to type yes, I can't say type yes. Type buy, B-U-Y, and I can just share pricing with you. April says, I learned giving away products are better than services. Good call. Trisha says, she learned a lot. Great. Tigger says, I learned my engagement is too low. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, cool. Lots of people saying bye. Sonia, Jen, Michael, Tigger, Mishra, Wiki, Kat, April, Mike, Brett, Peter, Nick, etc. Okay, cool. So here's what it costs to use Heyo. Okay. So it's $300 one time for a full year of access to our platform. It gives you 3 campaigns you can run anytime during the year. And it's always really smart to time them with those major holidays or major, like important seasonal times for your business. If back to school is big for your business, a back to school campaign is effective. You get 3 campaigns you can run at any time during the year. You get access to the same templates that you saw today that are converting at 30, 40, 50% for many of our clients. And you get full access to our drag and drop editor that you can use to create beautiful custom campaigns with no coding required at all. We've got full mobile integration. We have all the campaigns you saw today are mobile responsive. They look fantastic on mobile, so you can literally double the amount of leads that you're able to get from a campaign. And you get access to analytics, impressions, likes, email captures, etc. I'll also add on here, and I should have on this list, we've got an amazing customer care team. You've got Alex behind the scenes today helping you with any questions that you have. We have an awesome customer care team that is great with providing technical support and giving you the kind of strategic advice you're getting on today's webinar. So just keep that in mind. Now, you can buy at any time. You can get Heyo for $300 a year one time. But because you're on today's webinar, I want to make you guys a special offer. And I don't do this personally on every webinar I give. I'm doing it today. If you buy the $300 option before the end of this webinar, again, we're going to do Q&A right after this. I'm going to throw in some other bonuses totally free. And this is just, something that I'm able to do and I want to do for you guys because you spent some time with me today and took some time out of your busy day to learn a little bit about marketing your business on Facebook. We'll feature your fan page or business in a blog post. So once your first campaign is live, you let us know and we will do a case study, just like we did case studies for businesses like Nicollet Island Inn and Family Eye Center in Alabama. So featuring your fan page or business in a blog post, for us, that's a $249 value. A bonus, we have an ebook, a guide to choosing the right prize that also provides 11 high converting prize ideas. If you're still worried after today's webinar, you're going to be stuck. You're going to get 11 high converting ideas you can copy as an incentive for your Facebook campaign. Another awesome bonus, I've got a step-by-step guide on how to get more fans on Facebook. It presents 4 strategies. I put the strategies together. I worked with one of our writers here on my team named Emily to put this guide together for you. And it's really awesome. And it's literally provides step-by-step help. And then finally, another bonus is I will provide you access to our invite-only mastermind group. We have a live Facebook group called the Heyo Hub. It's full of Heyo power users. Our customer care team's in it all the time. And it's a really great collection of like-minded businesses that are trying really hard to, market their business on Facebook, build their brands on social media. And I think you'll find associating with them extremely valuable. So those are the bonuses that you can get today if you buy before the end of this webinar. So how do you do it? If you go to heyo.com/annual, ANNUAL, you will see this page and you will simply select the pay annually option. That is how you get today's bonuses. Don't select pay monthly if you want these bonuses because unfortunately we can only offer them with our annual option, which is $300 for the full year. So $300 and you're going to get $500 over $500 in free bonuses if you do that. If you're already a Heyo customer and you're on our monthly plan, you can still get the bonuses if you upgrade to the annual plan. So if you've got any questions about this at all, let me go ahead and just ask you to, just pop those questions right into GoToWebinar. We're about to head into Q&A anyway, and I want to answer whatever questions you guys have. So feel free to do that. All right, I see a few questions. Starting to just kind of come through. Let me go ahead and take a moment, and I'm going to actually check in with, I'm going to bug Mishra. I know she had a cold. Let me see if Mishra's still with us. See if I can say hi to Mishra one more time. Mishra, you're unmuted. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Do you have a little bit of voice left for us, Mishra?
I do.
Okay, cool. Hey, tell me what you thought of the webinar content today. Did you find it valuable?
I did find it valuable. It was nice to see the case study. Yeah, it was nice to see the case studies, excuse me, and see what people are doing successfully because all this kind of stuff is new to me. I understand the, excuse me, like the fundamental things and like, what the whole gist of it is, but when you're sitting down and you're trying to pick photos and figure out the prizes and all that, there's just this sense of not being sure if it's going to work. And I know in my business, my budget is tight. So,
yeah.
When you invest money in these types of campaigns, you want to know that you're going to get a return on your investment. So seeing what people have done already and what's worked for them is really helpful so that you know that, it's setting you up for success. And also seeing the traits of the business is also really helpful to know whether I mean, you should even use this platform right now or not.
Yeah.
That's really a good key piece of information. And if it does fit for you, you can say, okay, I can move forward with a little bit more confidence now, knowing that this will probably work for me.
Yeah, awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. And first of all, Misha, I totally agree with you. I find it super helpful to see how businesses are doing these campaigns, right? And we actually have a report that gets sent out to the team every morning of all the highest converting. It's like the top 10 highest converting campaigns that were launched the day before. So we're always looking at like what's working, what are businesses doing that's working, and like when we see something working really well, we're luckily a small enough company that I can still, I run operations here at Heyo. I can still pick up the phone and just, call you. And some of you who are listening that are customers may have heard from me before. I can just call you and say, hey, awesome campaign. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me how you're promoting it. So it's definitely helpful to see how other businesses are, promoting their business. Totally agree with you. And you're right. It is helpful to know, this is kind of what it takes to have success. And we're really trying to make that really clear to you guys. If you're not ready to run one of these campaigns, that's okay. It's time to focus on content. It's time to do other things. But if you've got this many fans, if you've got good engagement, if you feel like you've got the right ingredients, then there's really no stopping you. It's time to just, I think, put your foot down on the pedal and go. Cool. Well, awesome. Well, Mishra, thanks so much for sharing what you learned today. Any last words of wisdom here?
No, I don't have anything else. Just I appreciate you taking the time to educate us on this process and to help us to
awesome
to kind of find the success in our businesses that we're looking for.
Cool. Well, Mishra, thank you so much. It's totally my pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. Let me say hi to April real quick here. April, it's Chris. You're unmuted. Are you there?
You there?
I'm here.
Hey, April. So let me ask you, what did you think of today's content?
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Hey,
Can you
April.
hear me?
Hey.
So let me ask you,
We've got a little bit.
Yeah, I can.
Got a little bit of a delay here. So April, let me ask you, what do you think of today's content, and what do you think of this offer?
Muted me.
Unmuted.
There we go. You unmuted me now. The content was great. I think it was really helpful, especially to see what your recommendations are of where you should be in your Facebook. Because I run not only my photography studio, but I help out my husband who has a music licensing company that he just started, and we're at very different spots in our Facebook following. So it was really helpful to see that, yes, it could work for me right now, but we need to focus on getting Music Box licensing more followers.
Awesome. Good. That's great. I'm really glad to hear it. And, thanks so much for joining me on today's webinar.
Thanks so much for joining.
All right, cool. Awesome. So for those of you who are still considering the offer, I'm just going to leave it up here on my screen. If you've got questions about it, go ahead and pop them into the GoToWebinar questions. Alex can pick those up for you. We can make sure that, we answer any questions that you might have. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of move forward. Let me show you one thing that is, I think helpful as you consider these strategies, as you consider the offer that I just made you. This is a quote from my colleague Nathan, who many of you have heard on webinars past. Hesitation is the enemy of hustle. And I think that is probably one of my favorite quotes that I've heard Nathan make, favorite things I've heard him say. If you're considering running one of these campaigns, if you're looking at the traits I shared that are really common amongst businesses that are having success running Facebook contests, don't let hesitation hold back the hustle, right? Hesitation is the enemy of hustle. And hustle is definitely what gets things done. So let's go ahead and dive into Q&A. And if you've asked questions already, I would recommend going ahead and retyping your question if it hasn't been answered by Alex already. Going ahead and retyping it right into the GoToWebinar questions panel so that we can field those for you. Okay, so Sade asked a question. She says, Sade says, basically what I desire is to grow my Facebook likes. I'm wondering if there's a way to do that in such a way that I get, I'm assuming you mean local fans only, say like geographically local fans for your business. I'm assuming you mean. So, the best way to do that, like you can always ask for likes on Facebook, right? Like when you put out good content, try to tailor the content you're putting out on Facebook to your ideal customer persona. And if you're based in Omaha, Nebraska, and your ideal customer or your ideal Facebook fan is located in the Omaha area, go ahead and, tailor that content to people in Omaha, right? Do what you can to make that as tailored as possible so that, those that are engaging with your content are hopefully ideal fans for you. So keep that in mind. So Kat asked a question, I believe related to the way that we price. She says, Kat says, so the 3 pages can be different businesses, correct? That's correct. So if you were to purchase this plan today, you could run those 3 campaigns across any 3 fan pages, any 3 business pages that you want on Facebook, Kat. It does not have to be 3 campaigns on the same page. Stephanie asked a great question. She says, I noticed that the last time some Facebook fans hit like when they were already fans, and it unliked the page, will that still happen? So, if you're, if the like button that we use, Stephanie, on the sweepstakes campaign, if they click anywhere on the button, if they're not a fan yet, they just click anywhere on that button to become a fan. If they are a fan, they would actually have to hover. There's like a little X that appears on the far left part of the button. It's the standard Facebook like button. And if they were to hover over that X and click that X, then they could unlike the page. We don't really see that generally happen. But that's, I guess on rare occasions, sometimes we do. But yeah, I mean, if you please, I would say shoot us an email at support@heyo.com if you've got further questions about that, Stephanie. Wiki asked the question, can I have 2 campaigns on the same page? Absolutely. You could run all 3 campaigns on Wiki. You could run all 3 campaigns on the same Facebook page at the same time, and that's okay. Wiki says, awesome. Great. So glad to hear it, Wiki. All right. If you've got any other questions, folks, go ahead and pop them right into the GoToWebinar questions. We still have quite a lot of people on the line, and I'm definitely here to answer your questions if you've got them. Okay, Chris. Chris asked the question, and he made sure I wouldn't miss it too. Thanks, Chris. Do you recommend running multiple campaigns at the same time? I think if we're talking about the same business, Chris, unless you own multiple brands that you're talking about, but if you're talking about the same business, which you probably are, I'd recommend running 1 campaign at a time. You want to keep consumers' attention focused. And I really strongly believe in keeping it simple. So run 1 campaign, get all of their attention, and then be strategic about when you run the next campaign. So, if you run a campaign, here around the holiday season, you run a sweepstakes and it performs really well, maybe the next thing you do is you run that photo contest. We've got a beautiful template for the photo contest. And you do that for Valentine's Day. So that's very, very simple to do. Stephanie, the answer is yes. You can have 3 separate clients running campaigns at the same time. Chris also asked the question, in your experience, are video campaigns or photos better for higher engagement? So let me actually do this. Here I am. If you look at my screen here for a second, folks, I'm actually logged into Heyo, and I'm actually going to show you. the types of campaigns you can run with Heyo, because we've got some experienced users that are asking questions about different types of campaigns that can be run. So take a look at my screen. You should see the Heyo dashboard and this big orange create a campaign button. I'm going to click this button. And I've got a question here. What's your goal with Heyo today? We're talking today about running a social contest. Now, there are lots of other things you can do with Heyo, but if your goal is to run a contest, I'm going to click run a social contest. And now over here on the right, I've got different options. The one that we really focused on today was this one. It's the sweepstakes template. So what Chris is asking is, hey, you've got this photo contest that you can run. You've also got a video contest that you can run. Which one is better for driving engagement? So Chris, what I will tell you is to really successfully run a photo contest, I would say you generally need like, let's say roughly 1,000 fans, 1,000 Facebook fans. To run a successful video contest, you're going to need a lot more. And the reason is the barrier to entry. What you're asking the contestant to do, the entrant to do, is a lot steeper climb for the video contest, right? Because you're actually, we're in the age of the selfie. It's not that huge a deal to ask someone to snap a picture and upload it. And our photo contest app, which you see right here, is like, super easy to use, and it accepts photos uploaded, accepts photos attached from Instagram, accepts a hosted photo URL that's pasted in. So there are lots of ways to enter with a photo. But the video contest, you're actually asking them to shoot video. And what we find is that people care a lot more about the quality of the video if they're uploading a video, because they expect that the requirement is much, much higher. So keep that in mind, Chris. So hopefully that makes sense. A couple other questions we can field here. Okay, it looks like maybe you couldn't see anything. Can you guys see my screen okay right now, I hope? Looks like we lost the picture there for a second. Not sure what happened, but hopefully you're seeing my screen okay, guys. Can you guys see things all right now? Now it changed, Mishra says. Okay, good. So apologies. So let me go back to the dashboard that we were looking at. So if I go to create a campaign and I click run a social contest, here are those different templates I was just showing you. Here are those different templates I was just showing you that Chris was asking about. Cool. Sorry about that, guys. A little GoToWebinar glitch happens occasionally. Awesome. All right, so while I'm going to take a moment to read a couple of other questions, but go ahead and pop another question in if you guys have it into the GoToWebinar questions panel while I take a moment and read your current. Okay, Chris asked another question. He says, for group deals, you can see the group deal template right here. He says, can we do unique codes or do they need to be static? So the way the group deal template works, Chris, is it manages lead collection, right? It publishes this campaign. It actually counts up. You set the number of entries needed to unlock the deal. This template actually counts up to that number as people enter their email address. And it actually manages capturing all those leads. The fulfillment is totally up to you. You can use, you would use your own code, so they could be unique or static, totally up to you. Awesome. So you guys are a fantastic audience, and you've really stuck with me here throughout this whole webinar, and you've asked amazing questions. I've even pulled a whole bunch of you on live, which has been really fun. So let me just take a moment as we start to wind down, and I'll tell you, if you've got a last question or two, go ahead and pop it into the GoToWebinar questions. But let me go ahead and wrap things up a little, start to wrap things up a little bit. So I've seen a number of you asking if we recorded today's webinar. Yes. As I announced right at the beginning, and many of you may have joined late, I understand. We absolutely recorded today's webinar. So we'll absolutely send that link out to everybody who registered. So if you're on this webinar, if you're listening to me right now, you will absolutely get a link for the replay. Remember, and hopefully you're seeing my screen okay now, guys. If you're interested in these bonuses that we discussed today, featuring your fan page or business in a blog post, these 2 white papers, 11 high converting ideas you can copy as an incentive for your prize, a step-by-step guide on how to get more fans on Facebook, invite only access to our mastermind group. If you're interested in those, all you need to do is go to heyo.com/annual, heyo.com/annual to take advantage of that offer. So let me actually show you real quick. I'll see if I can make this a little bit bigger here. So here's one example of the bonuses that we're offering today. So this is our guide on 4 strategies to increase your likes and email list through Facebook. And it details 4 strategies and gives you step-by-step information on how to implement those strategies. Super helpful. We put a lot of effort into it, and it really, I think, takes a lot of time and effort out of your hands and just helps you execute on strategies that are going to build your fan base on Facebook. You can see here's a how-to. This is on how to install a like button on your website or blog. Sample copy and information about how to execute a dedicated email campaign to get more fans. So these are really great bonuses. If you guys are at all interested in them, just go to heyo.com/annual to take advantage of those. If you've got other questions about our pricing, feel free to just email us at support@heyo.com. Now, one last thing, if you guys are, kind of considering this, offer, if you look at like the characteristics of a successful, a business that runs a successful campaign on Facebook, and you're thinking, that's me, I could do this. But if you're just thinking, that you just don't have enough time and you're worried that you're just not going to be able to pull it off, there's also the opportunity to just have Heyo build your campaign for you. So go ahead and take a moment and look at this poll and fill this poll out for me. If you're interested in having Heyo build a campaign for you, let me know here in the poll. Just click yes if you're interested in learning more. Just click no if you're not. So if you're interested in having Heyo build a campaign for you, this is another service that we offer. We can reach out to you via email or phone and give you a little bit more information about that. Are you interested in having Heyo build a campaign for you? So I can see about 30% of you have voted. I'm gonna let that get a little bit higher before we wind down. Awesome, we're at 50%, 60. Okay, awesome. Great. Okay, cool. So like I said, if you've got any other questions, just shoot us an email to support@heyo.com. We'd be glad to answer any questions you have about, nonprofit pricing or getting more campaigns, or just questions about our product and how it works. Just shoot us an email. We'd be glad to help you out. Guys, I really appreciate you spending so much time with me today. It is always really, really enjoyable to hear from customers and those who are just interested in marketing their business on Facebook, learning more about your business and how you're thinking about things, and what types of campaigns you're looking to run and the questions that you're asking. This is really one of my favorite things I do here at Heyo, and I really appreciate you spending some time with me today. Remember, if you've got questions, shoot us an email to support@heyo.com. I'll send out this recording to everybody who can hear the sound of my voice, who is on this webinar. And guys, I will see you next time. Thanks so much for joining.